Hi, I'm Anthony Originello, CEO of the Chartered Professionals in Human Resources for BC and Yukon. We represent more than 8,000 members, and as the organization dedicated to advancing the HR profession through education, advocacy, awareness, professional development, as well as our recognized and impactful CPHR designation, we are proud to be a sponsor of this show. We have been the voice of the HR profession since 1942. Learn more about us at cphrbc.ca.
In this edition of Careers That Matter, I'm joined by Shawn Johnston, the founder of Forge & Smith and also the founder of Refoundry. Shawn, welcome.
Thank you.
What is your job?
Chief bottle washer, really.
You own a small business.
That's right,
Okay, right. You're janitor as well.
Yeah, for the most part, my job right now is sales. I'm focused on both agency sales, just to sort of keep the lights on, keep everybody employed, keep everything moving forward, and our go-to-market strategy for the product itself. So a lot of cold calling, cold emailing, general admin, problem solving, mentoring and coaching the team that is taking my place in a lot of ways, and then everything else that's needed, writing emails, newsletters, a pitch deck, you name it. It's just out there hustling 24/7.
Well, tell me about the size of your team.
So we have 16 full-time employees and then 2 part-time employees.
So how many of them report directly to you?
Directly to me, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what are those functions that are reporting directly to you?
Yeah, so we have 2 directors, our director of technology who handles the engineering team and the development build teams and all of our hosting and maintenance programs. So he reports to me. His name's Troy. He's been around with me for 10 years now. And then our director of strategy, Pam's been with me for about 8 years. She manages project ops, design and strategy, and the SEO side of things. The third person is our part-time social media guru. Sophie is just helping me produce TikTok content, YouTube content, so I'm not too cringy.
Well, that's very important in this world because it helps you to raise your profile.
That's right, yeah.
But your other 2 direct reports, you say they've been with you 8 and 10 years. How important has it been to you that you have those comfortable working relationships, that you've developed shorthand and trust over time?
Yeah, it's particularly as I've continued to phase out of the day-to-day operations, like having 2 extremely capable, experienced people that understand our mission, our culture, how we make decisions, how we support the team, how we engage with our clients. Having them sort of in place and handling those things has been, I just wouldn't have been able to launch the product and really go to market without it. We don't have this huge war chest that I can go to market with. We're literally bootstrapping and self-funding with our project work as much as possible.
So based on the work that you do you have a physical location that you all work from, or are you all remote?
No, we had an office space. I would say signing a 5-year lease was the worst mistake I ever made. So we did distribute the team in 2019, just before COVID happened and forced everybody to do it. And it was for me and for our culture, it was one of the best things that we did. There's a few people that didn't like it. We had a little bit of turnover, but for the most part, people really love being able to work from home. And you have to implement some intentional ways to ensure that people aren't siloed, that there's collaboration and accountability and a lot of communication. But if you do it well, it could be a really nice way for you to be able to have a career and life balance.
So you're running a small company in British Columbia.
Yep.
How many hours a week are you working?
Well, technically speaking, I'm in my office about 40 hours, 45, 50 hours. In terms of brain space, it's pretty much all my waking hours.
Yeah, you can't turn it off, can you?
No.
And why can't you turn it off? Because a lot of people would go, well, come on, you got to have a work-life balance. Like I go to work, I work this, and then I don't think about it until I come back tomorrow. How come you can't do that?
Well, I mean, I do. I prioritize working out. I prioritize rest, lowering sensory input, that sort of stuff. We've got a garden. I spend a lot of time in it, sort of doing physical things. I spend a lot of time with my family. We've got dogs to walk. So it's just where my brain tends to spend time sort of thinking. So, I've got I'm autistic ADHD, and so there's just parts of my brain that are always just chugging away at problems or thinking ideas or making connections, and so it's not a workaholic sort of thing. I love solving the problems. I love seeing the patterns and systems and trying to make sense out of it. It's just part of a hobby, I guess, a special interest, but yeah.
But is there a component of worry, because you've got to always make sure that you're keeping your company financially viable?
Yeah.
Is that also a little bit of a, come on, keep going, Shawn?
Yeah, it can actually be really terrifying. So, in the space, like, whatever debt you create, whatever risk you take, it's all personally secured, right? And so, there's real risk in there. And so, yeah, in the early days, it was something I really ruminated about, created a ton of stress and anxiety for me, really, really impacted my quality of life. And I burnt out a bunch of times, particularly at the low parts of the year where summer starts to slow down, winter starts to slow down. It's like the sun's never going to rise again. My wife would shared so many stories about the times where I would spiral. I'm going to close the doors next month. Like, that's the end. I can't do it. So I'm a designer by trade. I don't have a business background. I don't have sort of any financial training. So I really had to get serious about doing it properly. And so, working with a proper bookkeeper, making sure our forecasting is in place, keeping track of your cash flow, these sorts of things sort of give you real numbers that you can create real plans around. Can you control recessions and tariffs and all that sort of stuff? Not really. All you can really do is just try to pivot, try to move with the prevailing winds, try to keep your focus on what it is that you can control, and sort of let the broader universe do its own thing.
So let's go back to the beginning of your career. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Pitt Meadow Secondary School, actually.
Pitt Meadow Secondary.
Yeah, that's right.
And when you graduated, did you say, yeah, I know what I want to do. I'm going to have the very company that you have right now?
No.
What was your vision about what was the future for Shawn Johnston?
Oh, my goodness. I didn't have one, to be honest with you. I actually wanted to be an artist at the time. I was really interested in the trades, but this was in the mid-90s when desktop publishing was blowing up, home computers were blowing up, and yeah, I ended up in a graphic design and communication course. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a way to monetize doing art. I ended up in a whole bunch of production roles, which I liked, and then something called CSS. So it's a particular programming language that kind of blossomed in 2004. 2005, and that changed the way that we styled websites, and it gave you way more creative opportunity. I thought that was really interesting, and I taught myself how to code. And then it just sort of kind of grew out of that. I always wanted to run my own company. I didn't know what type of company. I just really liked the idea of being able to control my own destiny.
So what were the first jobs that you got? Once you had started you had your basic education, then where'd you go to work?
Yeah, I worked for a little while in a sign shop. That was terrible. I worked a long time at the Future Shop head office. I started in the flyer department. I was doing something called box building, which is managing the little collections of image and bullet points that you just dropped into flyers. Then I did flyer production. I got into some signage work. I sort of made the switch over to sort of systems management and sign printing. Learned a lot about process and scale at that point. I got wildly stressed out. Babies started getting born around that time, so I was like, I got to get out of the corporate rat race. It's not going to go anywhere. I ended up working at a ad agency for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. That's where I learned how to code on the side. And started doing a little bit of sort of freelancing for some charities that I was connected to, and that just turned into Craigslist hustles. I was just doing $1,500 websites on the side and worked for a web agency based out of New Jersey, of all places. And then I just grew the freelancing. I just took the full-time plunge. And then that got too busy.
Oh, so you didn't do a hard cut from
No.
job to it just started to emerge.
I tiptoed my way into it. So yeah,
that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I'd built up a pretty good side hustle.
Yeah.
I had a pretty good routine with Craigslist posts and that sort of stuff, and it looked possible. So I pitched my wife on it. I'm like, can you just give me 6 months to give this a try? And she said okay. And yeah, it was really good, and that sort of grew. And then eventually, it just got too much for me to handle, and so I started hiring people. And I couldn't give them ShawnJohnston.ca emails. Just that's not my style. So Forge and Smith sort of happened. And then we've sort of grown. We've contracted and grown a bunch of times over the years. And then yeah, that's how it kind of happened by accident.
And along the way, you learned how to run a business. Earlier, you were talking about, I learned that you got to have a really good bookkeeper, an accountant, and your legal affairs have to be in place, and protect cash flow, and all those things that nobody ever teaches you.
No, I had to learn it by trial and error.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a great way to learn.
Well, it sometimes can be an expensive way to learn. It cost me $30,000 to fix the corporate books mess that an accountant made for me before I actually moved to a proper corporate accountant. So yeah.
Yeah. Ouch. Like ouch.
Yeah.
So if you take a look at your career right now, and there's some young person watching this, and they're going, Shawn, your story's pretty inspiring to me. What would you say to them is one or two personal characteristics that you have now discovered that you possess, that really only emerged as a result of the career path that you chose?
Yeah, I would say the main one is persistence. There's a lot of no's. There's way more no's than yeses, and there's a lot more problems than there are solutions. And you do need a bit of persistence. There's going to be days where it just doesn't feel worth it. So you have to sort of stick to that dream and focus on your goals. I think the other part of that is teamwork. I'm a pretty independent person. I like to solve things on my own, which is fine to a point. But if you want to grow, if you want to scale, you have to have people around you that you're aligned with, that you can trust, that you can collaborate with, because it's really the only way that you'll get beyond your own capacity. So I think those are the two things I learned the hard way.
Well, thanks for giving us a glimpse into your job and the career path that you took to get to now.
Thank you.